John 14:1-4, 18-20. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going.
I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Before long, the world will not see me anymore, but you will see me because I live. You also will live. On that day, you will realize that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you.
Good morning, everyone. It's often said that the opposite of fear is bravery. I would posit something different, in all honesty. The opposite of fear is not bravery, it's hope. In this gospel passage, Jesus is reassuring his disciples and us that there will always be room for us in heaven, and that God will always be with us even when situations in the world go sideways, which often they do. It's extremely easy to look at the news or social media and get stuck in thinking that you can't do anything about all the horrendous things people do to each other. We get stuck in the freeze, flight, fight, and fawn responses, and those aren't really helpful in the long run. And there's a term for that when you get stuck: hypervigilance. Now, I'm not denigrating or dismissing anyone's trauma in the current day. Traumatic things are happening to our LGBTQIA siblings in many states. Wars are going on in multiple parts of the world, and there's rampant poverty happening everywhere. And everything is ramping up in tension, and a lot of people are fearful of the other. The hope that I'm getting to is that if there's plenty of space for everyone in heaven, then we don't have to fear stepping out of line or missing the mark in minor points of theology to win our salvation. Jesus already did that. We also don't have to worry about God not loving us, because Jesus didn't come to condemn the world. He came to save it out of love. To illustrate my point in this story with an analogy, I have 6 adult sheep, 5 Dene Churro ewes, and 1 Katahdin ram. The ewes can be quite flighty because most of them weren't socialized well as babies. They are lovely, wonderful creatures, and I love them dearly. I give them as much attention and love as I possibly can, and a lot of them have come a long way as far as comfortability with being touched. The ram, however, was a bottle baby, and the previous owners gave him a ton of affection when he was young. As a result, he is one of the most affectionate sheep I have ever met, and Adam and I call him a puppy sheep. He will follow us around and lean into us and wag his tail when he gets hugged. It's awesome. So when it comes to the ewes, they only started getting comfortable with us when we consistently worked on building emotional bridges to relate to them. It took time and watching their body language and working with them to reduce their scare distance. So in short, we made a friendship with them. They set boundaries, we respect them, and they're more likely to come to us in general because they feel safe. Also, we have snacks. Buckwheat, our ram, has never had a problem with being fearful of humans, so he's very likely to be friends automatically. He comes to us with hope and love because he has never known anything different. So often, humans have a scare distance too, in which they go into those 4 fear responses. I myself go into the freeze or fawn response often if I'm not mindful. So what I've noticed is that when my brain goes into those fear responses, it's almost impossible to find hope in anything working out in a good way. or feeling like I have any sort of backup when it feels like we are fighting this spiritual battle by ourselves. What often happens is that I end up looking at things as black and white situations, when in reality, things are often more tones of gray. I mean, obviously, fascism and authoritarian regimes need to be defeated resoundingly. Now, hope says that God promises to always be with us and will always love us. We never have to fight those battles alone, regardless of how it feels a lot of the time. We can lean into that promise, and that will help us become unstuck when it comes to thinking about ways to work together as a society. Fear ends up limiting our ability to do much of anything, much less work together to uphold others' human dignity. So how does this impact us, how we live as people? For one thing, if there is room for everyone to have a place with God, we don't have to compete to be God's favorite people. Everyone is loved the same amount by God. So if we're not competing for God's love, this gives us space to love others as God loves us. So what does this look like in today's society? Well, what we currently have is a semi-caste system based on socioeconomic status, political affiliation, racial tone, all those things. But if we were as democratic as we say we are, and upheld human dignity as much as we think we could, then many of the oppressive systems would just simply cease to exist. The main goal of society would be to uphold our neighbor's dignity, even if that neighbor doesn't look or think the same way we do. We would be much less hell-bent on being right all the time, and be more curious and hopeful about learning how other people live. Less judgment, more hope, love, and joy. So what can we do to work towards this vision? And how can we expand our viewpoint to include more people, even ones with which we do not agree? Opening the question up.